scene that I found here is very interesting, but I knew that I had to find the perfect angle for it in order to work. Let me show you my full thought process behind this composition. Let's start with the thing that first caught my attention. The intention that I actually have for today is to capture some of the hope of spring. So the spring flowers are just starting to blossom. I'm actually out looking for that, but at the moment it is raining and it's a bit cold, so they're close up. And I was intrigued by this other scene here instead. And the thing that intrigued me here in this scene are these rocks that are on a diagonal line up into the rock wall of a smaller cliff there. And that is shifting my intention from, I'm posing the spring flowers and I'm shifting it towards capturing this green moss and the rocks just leading into it. And I'm hoping to get a bit more of a nature's struggle in a difficult environment kind of image instead. And the problem that I'm foreseeing here that I really have to work around is that the diagonal of the rocks, that it isn't going to show on the 2D plane of the camera. So I'm really gonna have to work with finding the right place to stand in order to really show the diagonal and the way that the rocks are sticking out and really show the interest that I'm seeing here with my own eyes. So that is what I'm working on. So I'm just gonna take up the camera now and start to see what we can find. So the first thing that I really need to establish here is the angle that I want. So I could attack it from this angle here, and then I'm getting the diagonal that I saw in the beginning, or I could move further in here and with it bringing straight on here. This kind of flattens the whole scene out and I'm not getting the diagonal right there. The other idea then would be from up here. I do get a diagonal here, but it's not leading into anything interesting down there. So I'm thinking the angle that I actually had in the beginning is the best one. This angle is definitely the best one. And then it's gonna be a matter of the distance and the amount of zoom, how much I want to compress it. The more I compress the scene, the flatter it gets, and the wider an angle I use and the closer I get, the more I can accentuate the distance between the foreground and the background. So the thing that I'm debating right now in my mind are these two trees. The further I move to this side, the more of a diagonal I get with the rocks, but the two trees in the background there are merging together. But if I move further over here, you can see they're standing apart. So they're getting their own individual space. But the diagonal in the foreground here is shifting. So maybe if I get closer instead. There's also a debate of how much of the sky that I really want in it or not. So the things that I really want to include, obviously the rocks right there. I want to include some of these trees right here, but I don't want to include too much of what's happening on this side, and I don't want to include too much of the sky. I don't want to include it up there, so I'd rather zoom in a bit in order to eliminate that sky and keep the interest right in there. And then move forward a little bit. Around here somewhere, zoom in a bit. So I'm thinking along these lines right here should be a really good place to stand. So the structure that I settled for in this composition is that we have the anchor with this big strong rock there, and then we have the rocks, this one, this one, this one, and this one, with the moss on it really being the main element. That's the main thing that I want to convey in this composition. And then we have the trees and the slope acting as structured elements, keeping it in place really. And for the balancing, I really wanted the rocks to kind of lead inwards towards the progressing the scene inwards, and then we have the light on this side. So we have the darkest side here and the light side over there, everything just creating a flow. Therefore I wanted this one to move into this one, and the trees having their own space. These trees up here sadly clashing a little bit, but then these trees over here standing on their own, and then not including too much, zooming in a little bit there in order to eliminate some of the more distracting things here in the foreground and not including too much of the forest in the background, since this composition isn't about that. It's kind of an end, but it's not about that. It's about the slope and primarily these rocks and how everything just flows through. So that is the balancing. By the way, if you want to learn more about how to make these decisions in field, I put together a complete list of the tools of composition, which is the framework that I use in order to know where to stand and how to move in field in order to get the composition that I intend. You can download it from the description below. As for the solution to the problem of the diagonal rocks, I solved it by moving closer, zooming out a little bit, and actually shifting it a little bit to my right, and in that way I could get a very powerful anchor element of that first rock there, and that just makes it continue. You can really see it really grows into the composition, and it acts as a leading element to the next rocks. What does the composition integrate into then? Well, I think I managed to make it into what I wanted it to be. A composition that conveys the harshness of certain natural element and conveying those stark rocks that we have there. And I think both of those are really tying well together with the trees, the slope, and the rocks, and it integrates into that. This is a difficult place for nature, and these rocks are really coming forth because of that, and just really shining through in that sense. So I'm really satisfied with this. I'm glad that I decided to capture it. If you want to watch this same kind of problem solving in a completely different setting, no rocks, no diagonals, just a stubborn gray sky and a beautiful patch of forest floor, the previous episode is worth watching next. Same thinking, very different scene.